Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and we just got a new Tistina and Ashen card. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these two new cards. So first off, we do have Misama Dragon Tistina, and we also have Inferno of the Ashened, and both of these cards are going to be released in Duelist Advance, which is the next set after Alliance Insight. So let's go ahead and see what these cards actually do. So first off, we do have the new Tistina card, and this card is called Crystal Misama Dragon Tistina, which sounds awesome, and the artwork of this card looks absolutely phenomenal. I love the way this card looks. I love how it has like that red visor right there, which just looks really cool. So this card actually is a level 10 Dark Aqua effect monster with 2,000 attack points and 0 defense points, and the first thing that comes to mind is Chaotic Element. So this card is going to be searchable because it's a level 5 or higher Dark Aqua monster off the effect of Chaotic Element. So this card has the ability that you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn, so you can activate both of them. For the first effect, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Tistina monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. Also, light Tistina monsters that you control will gain 1,000 attack for the rest of this turn. That is a crazy powerful effect to basically just give you a search and also a little bit of a boost, but the downside of this card is it is a level 10, so hopefully the second effect has a way to special summon it. So for the second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard and a card is in the field spell zone, you can actually special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the hand or the graveyard for the rest turn except Tistina. That is a little bit of a downside. It does lock you into Tistina for the rest turn, but it's a pretty good effect that it does have a way to actually special summon itself. And the field spell Tistina actually has the ability to be able to send a Tistina monster from your deck to the graveyard, so you can use your copy of your field spell to send this card to the graveyard, bring it back to your side of the field because it will have a field spell in the field spell zone, and then just bring it back to your side of the field. Then you use the first effect to add a Tistina monster you want from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability. So you can add something like a copy of Demigod to your hand, so you can special summon it and make your copy of your Tistina XZ monster, which is really cool using both of these cards. And then you can just bring it back later, because if it's sent to the graveyard and a card's in the field zone, you can special summon it back and then get to search every single turn, which is a pretty cool effect. It doesn't have to be sent from anywhere in particular. It just has to be sent to the graveyard while you have a field spell up, which is pretty cool. Overall, this card is probably just a one-of that you're trying to send to the graveyard off your copy of your Tistina, but it does give us a actual good target for our field spell, which is actually really nice. So we can just summon this card out and then search our copy of Crystal God. Crystal God's an extender, so you can actually, or Demigod was actually an extender, so you can just bring it out to your side of the field as well, which is really nice. So we have a really easy way to actually make our rank 10, but it does lock you into Tistina monsters. But this is actually pretty good support overall. I really like this card, and it's great for the deck, but I feel like it's probably just a one-of in the deck to be able to just summon out to your side of the field. But it's a great card. It's a great card. So let's go ahead and check out the new Ashened card now. So this card is called Inferno of the Ashened, and again, just like your copy of Tistina card, this card is going to be released in Duelist Advance. I really want more main deck monsters for the actual Ashen deck. I feel like they already have spells and traps covered, but I might be wrong. Let's go ahead and see what this card actually does. Maybe it'll help us get monsters. This card actually is really cool because I think this is actually Shaman before the entire city was completely burned by the volcano, which is actually really cool. I really do think that is actually Shaman because of this right here, because in her artwork you actually see something like this. So I believe this is actually Shaman. So let's go ahead and see what this card actually does. So this card actually is called Inferno of the Ashen, and it's a continuous spell card, and you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. For the first effect, when this card resolves, you can actually place an Obsidian, the Ashen City, from your deck face up in either player's field zone. That's insane. So don't even have to worry about terraforming. We can basically just use this card to place our copy of Obsidian on our side of the field. So this actually makes it so we have like 6 copies of Obsidian, which is actually really nice. That's actually insane that we now have 6 copies of Obsidian in the deck to be able to just get to this card. That's actually really good. And it instantly makes this card a 3-of in the deck. For the second effect, you can target one face-up card that your opponent controls and one level 8 or higher Dark Pyro monster in your graveyard and send that card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that other monster from your graveyard to your opponent's field in defense. Okay, so that effect is actually really good because it helps you get to your copy of Vados and hand it to your opponent while also being a spell removal, which is pretty good, especially for cards who cannot be destroyed by card effects. So this card lets you target one face-up monster your opponent controls and a level 8 Dark Pyro monster in your graveyard. You send that monster on your opponent's side of the field to the graveyard, and then you special summon your level 8 Dark Pyro monster to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. So basically what you can do with this is you can use it with your copy of Vados to basically hand your opponent a copy of Vados while also sending a face-up monster as your opponent controls to the graveyard, which is a pretty cool effect because it doesn't destroy it, it just actually sends it, so you have a different way of actually dealing with your opponent's cards. You don't have to just destroy them with your copy of Vados, which is really nice. But it could have just had that first effect where you actually have the effect of Obsidian, where you just place Obsidian on your side of the field, and it just would basically be a 3-of instantly because you need to be able to get to your copy of Obsidian. Hopefully in the future though, we do get more main deck monsters, because currently we just have Spearhead, I believe King, Hero, Vados, and Shaman, and Priestess for the main deck. We have 2 super poly targets in the extract, which is pretty cool. But overall, this card looks phenomenal. I love the artwork of it, where you can kind of see what Obsidian looked like before it was actually turned into the Ashen City, which is actually pretty cool. But that effect where you can actually just give your opponent Vados from the graveyard is actually pretty good. It makes Super Poly a little bit better in the deck as well, where you can actually just basically use this card to be able to go in for your plays, hand your opponent a copy of Vados, and you can get the ability to get your copy of Obsidian on your side of the field, which is really, really nice. And if your opponent does have a monster on the field that basically just cannot be destroyed, you can just send it to the graveyard. If it can be targeted, we can deal with it, which is great. So this card is actually a 3-of instantaneously in the deck, and kind of fixes a little bit of the deck where it lost Bonfire, or Bonfire went to 1. But it's actually pretty good overall. This card is actually really, really nice in the deck, and I really look forward to actually playing this card. But it's a 3-of. This card is instantaneously a 3-of in the deck. I feel like the other card, the Crystal Mysama Dragon Tistina, or Mysama Dragon Tistina, I feel like this card is probably a 1-of because you can send it to the graveyard off your copy of your Ba Tistina. But I might be wrong. You might just use it other ways too. There might be other ways that we can get this card in the graveyard, like Foolish Burial and stuff like that. But you do want to use it with your copy of your field spell, so you can basically send it to the graveyard. We might play it at 2 in the deck, but I don't think you're going to play this card at 3. I feel like 2 is all you need for this. It is a searcher, which is really good, but it's a once per turn, so we can constantly get it back. It doesn't banish itself when it leaves the field, but you probably play 2 because Bestials do exist. So this card is probably a 2-of in the build for Tistina, whereas your copy of the Inferno of the Ashen, probably a 3-of instantaneously, because this card is actually insane. Just helping you get to your copy of your field spell and using it to be able to get your copy of Vados back on your opponent's side of the field. You basically want to keep your copy of Vados on your opponent's side of the field so you can use your abilities over and over again, and we can actually take it from our opponent with different cards, which is pretty cool. So that's it for this one, guys. I feel like these cards are really good for the TCG exclusive archetypes. They started out TCG exclusive archetypes, and then the OCG got a hold of them, and they kind of just gave them pretty good support. That usually does happen where they get cards like the Goaty cards. We actually got Moonlight and Meek, I believe it was. We got both of those from the OCG, the little SP fish. We got that one. And then now we're getting this, and we're getting the Tistina card, which is pretty cool overall. And I really like the fact that they do give TCG exclusive archetypes. So like, hey, I see where this needs a little bit of support. We're going to give it this. And even like Flame Swordsman recently got the new Dark Flare Knight retrain, which was really, really good for a bunch of different decks. Not only just Flame Swordsman, but it's also really good for not only Flame Swordsman, it's also really good for like different warrior decks. So that's going to do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come per notification squad, and definitely tell me which one of the decks you like better between Ashened and Tistina down in the comments down below. I like them both. I've played Ashened a little bit more than I have actually played Tistina, but I feel like they're both really interesting. But that's going to do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come per notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.